Now, we will talk about early childhood care and education in emergencies. This is really very important, and sometimes it's neglected when we talk about EIE. But now we have our GCE board member representing the INGOs, and she is also the president of the World Organization for Early Childhood Education, or OMEP, and she will give us key messages and reminders about ECCE in education in emergencies. So over to you, Mercedes Mayol Lassalle.
Thank you. Thank you, Thea. It is an honor and a pleasure to join you today to speak about this urgent and often overlooked issue, the importance of protecting early childhood care and education in emergencies. The 2025 Global Action Week of Education reminds us that education saves lives. And when it comes to young children, this truth is even more powerful. Why ECC public policies are important during early years for children and for families also. Early childhood, from birth to age 8, is the most critical period of human development. It shapes a child's intelligence, health, emotions, and learning abilities for life. In emergencies, ECC provides much more than education. It offers protection, emotional security, stability, and hope. It gives children a safe space to play, to learn, to heal. It supports families, especially mothers and caregivers, with services, psychosocial support, and opportunities to rebuild their lives. When governments invest in ECC as a public good, they protect children's rights, empower families, and plant seeds for peace, resilience, and social justice. But despite this knowledge, we face enormous structural problems and neglect. In most emergencies, ECC is absent from planning and funding priorities. We saw it in the COVID period. Early childhood services are often fragmented, underfunded, and treated as optional. There is a severe shortage of trained early educators and caregivers. Children with disabilities, indigenous children, and displaced communities are systematically excluded. And ECC received only a tiny fraction of humanitarian aid for education, far below what is needed. There are no isolated mistakes. They reflect a deep structural neglect, a failure to see young children as right holders, even in the darkest times. And let me be clear, there is not just technical gaps. There are violation of human rights. The Convention on the Rights of the Child clearly states that children have the right to survival, development, education, and protection, even in conflicts or crisis. Article 6 affirms that the child's right to life and full development, and there are many other like Article 28 and 38 that demand access to education and protection even during armed conflicts, for example. The Safe School Declaration also calls for the protection of education settings, including early learning centers, against attack and misuse. Neglecting ECC in emergency violates these binding commitments. It abandons the youngest, the most vulnerable in the very moment when they need us most. So, what must we do? How can we change this reality? We need a transformative agenda to ECC in emergencies grounded in rights, inclusion, and resilience. First, we need to recognize ECE as essential life-saving intervention. Safe spaces for play, learning, nutrition, and emotional care must be part of every emergency education response. Second, We must embed ECC into crisis-sensitive national education plans and budgets. Third, we must strengthen intersectoral coordination with health, education, nutrition, protection centers in order to collaborate to ensure a holistic support of young children and families. Fourth, we must listen to families, communities, and children themselves. ECC programs must be culturally relevant, inclusive, and built with community participation. Fifth, we need to invest in early childhood educators and caregivers. They need to be protected, to recognize them as frontline defenders of children's rights and well-being. And finally, we must connect ECC with peace building, resilience, and climate action. Our final call is if we fail to protect young children during emergencies, we fail with humanity. But if we act boldly, we can save lives, rebuilding communities, and create the foundation of a better and more peaceful world. And we know that it is possible. All around the world, there are inspiring experiences, good practices, and courageous actions showing that it is possible to do things right for young children. These examples remind us, despite adversity, when there is political will, solidarity, and respect for rights, early childhood care and education can flourish even in emergencies. Education saves lives. Let's protect early childhood care and education in emergencies now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mercedes, for informing us on how to make ECCD as mandatory in education in emergencies and also in the right to education. Colleagues, we have listened to ways by which we can advocate for ECCE in education in emergencies, and we hope that you are able to translate this cause into your own context. So thank you so much, Mercedes.